Everybody wants a hack. Everybody wants the easy way. They want the simple way. And that's really the culture that we've created. And man, there's nothing wrong with information. Get it. There's nothing wrong with knowledge. There's nothing wrong with an easier way. But if you're not willing to put in the work or the experience, then you will never get the result that makes you happy. Why? Because we're human beings and so much fucking goes into what we achieve. If it's not you, I don't give a shit what it is. If it's not you, okay, competition, sports, women, your relationships, your business, the money you make, the status that you have, if it is not 100% you, then you'll always want more and you'll never be satisfied. So check this out. This all comes from actually Gary, who's one of the guys who does coaching with us. You can find out about him at austinmensdevelopment.com/askgary. And he was saying, you know what, man, actually he was talking about a bunch of stuff. He's like, no, man, you have to be able to know what you want. You have to say what you want. And he's being really direct about some advice on one of our calls. And it was interesting because I was like, dude, man, the only reason why you can say that, the only reason why you can put your foot down in terms of business, and put your foot down with people, friendships, say what you want. If somebody steps on your toes, to be able to say like, hey, dude, it's not cool. Here's how I work. Okay, it's not for an alpha thing. It's not for some front that he's putting on. It's because Gary has lived some real life shit. He didn't learn that by memorizing a bunch of stuff. He didn't learn that by getting some technique. He didn't learn that by going like, hey, man, I'm just going to fake being a badass dude and tell you what I think, or being alpha is the way to go and tell you what I think. He did that because, man, he was divorced. He got screwed over by his wife. He got screwed over by dudes. He got his ass kicked in multiple ways, but he showed up at life every time. And I can't emphasize this enough. So many people, so many guys out there, they ask for advice. And this actually came from a question with a guy saying like, hey, I want to date multiple chicks, but I don't want the girls to complain about it. I want to have my cake and eat it too. Look, the real thing about the story is that's hard to do, man. It takes a lot of time. We recorded another video on it. The people that do it make it a culture of their lives, and they end up putting more boundaries and rules around. Anyway, whatever. You can listen to that. But there's always a consequence to it. If you're going to be the badass, then you got to stand up and fight. But if you're standing up and fighting just to be the badass, you miss the whole fucking point. See, this is one of those things in the men's development industry that I would wish upon everybody. And you're saying, I don't want this. We were talking about this a lot. Jim was talking about it too, is that, it's like young men ask these questions and it's like, man, sorry, grow up. Well, I hate to say it. The other option of taking our advice and being a part of our group and kind of doing what we say, and of course, experience, you're going to hit some bumps on the road, but the other option of that, if you're going to show up at life and really give it your all, is it's going to be painful. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be emotionally taxing. And man, you're probably going to lose a bunch of stuff in your life a few times and then learn how to work for it back. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to get stuff from it. But young guys show up and they want that easy answer. They want that answer of like, tell me how to do this. How can I fall in love? How can I have women? How can I have success? How can I learn internet marketing? How can I do better at, getting respect and status? How can I learn, jujitsu or stand up fighting or whatever? Man, if you are not showing up in the ring, if you are not showing up and saying, hey, here's my money, here's my product, buy it. If you're not putting yourself in front of a woman and saying, look, I want you, I'm attracted to you, you make the choice, I can handle it. If you're not doing that, then man, you're not going to get anywhere. You're always going to be looking for a hack. You're always going to be looking for an easy way. And the best thing that you can do, and this would be my advice, man, and if you don't like it, well, hey, good. Then stop listening to me, please, by all means. But I'll tell you this, I don't know anybody who's proved me wrong with this. And I saw this early on in the men's development industry. Every guy could get something very useful out of getting his ass kicked. Okay. And that could be literally, not that I'm wishing violence upon you, but you put yourself out there, man. You put yourself out there. Maybe it's in the gym, but losing, submitting now in that way. Also falling in love. Man, I'm so sick of guys saying like, oh, I got this and that. Man, women are going to sweep you off your feet. You're going to fall in love with them. You're going to like them. It's going to be awesome. You're going to start thinking stupid things. You're going to want to do everything for that girl. You're going to want to throw everything out the window and give it all to her. That's a natural thing, man. That's not a sign of weakness. You know, you might want to make a lifelong commitment, but that's not going to last for the rest of your life. But it's a feeling that you have, and you got to realize, man, it's a part of being a man. That's one of the best fucking things about being a man is giving yourself to a woman. Okay? And part of one of the best things about being a man is not needing to do that either at times. And you got to do both. You got to do everything in between. Okay? And the third thing is getting your heart broken. Man, if you get your ass kicked in life, finances, business, you know, maybe you compete and physically, man, I love that, man. Submission is key. Keeps me human, keeps me honest. Man, the one place where everybody's equals, and it's just awesome, is on the fucking mat, on the jujitsu mat. And that's one of the places where I find it. Why? Because, yeah, I may not be an equal to that person, but that person's going to lose to somebody else. Or if I best them consistently, you know, they can get better. Shit, man, that shit happens to me all the time. But I'm gonna get humbled in a way. But we're all equal and unified doing this great, great art. Falling in love. Wow, what a perspective. What a great thing. You know, I think I know everything until I fall in love with it, because then everything can change. My decisions, my perspective switch, all that sort of stuff turns around. And I realize that, man, you know, feeling's a cool thing. You know, I change for it. It's fucking awesome. I can think all the stuff that I want. I can make all the rules that I want. But man, when it comes to that feeling, and this could be love with another human being, this could be love for, you know, a certain passion that you have. But man, it changes you. It changes you. It's not all this choice and lack of experience, you know, mindset that comes to play. And then that getting your heart broken, that pain, that desperation, you know. And I'll tell you this, you know, my friend, he I won't say his name because he's a good friend of mine, and I think he doesn't like him when I mention him, and I kind of mention him a lot. But he said, man, Steve, I remember, he was talking about a 13-year relationship he was in. He got out of it with this girl, and he said, man, I was lying on the ground making animal noises, crying just for like a year. And I had a support system. I had friends, but that did something to me. That pain that you couldn't, you know, articulate, but that sort of hurt, and the allowance to hurt, the admission to hurt. See, we are afraid of that. We think that that's a bad thing, that if we break up with somebody, that's not going to happen, you know, and we have to welcome that sort of pain. You know, that's sort of like, God damn, man, I did everything I could for this woman, for this thing, for this love. And it didn't love me back. And it was real. Man, those three things can only come from life and can only come from experience. You can't think about them. You can't manufacture it. You can't set up the video game simulation about it. You can only live them. And when you live them, man, the type of character and the type of man that you can talk to, not only can you relate to that person better, but they're real. They know more of themselves. That every word that comes out of that person's mouth is forged by this awesome thing. And it's not just pain. It's not just I got my ass kicked. It's not just that I fell in love. It's not that I got humbled and broken up with. It is that I know the value of me. I know the value of my want. I know the latitude of me. I know that I could say this one thing today and say that I want to fall in love with somebody for the rest of my life or be single for the rest of my life. And that could flip on a dime just because. God, man, that's the nature of being human and the coolest thing. You know, that's the man to strive for. That's the man to be. You know, that's what we talk about. And that's where we're coming from. And you know what? If you're young, and a lot of guys say this, it's like, hey, I'm 20 years old. I didn't pay you, you know, to be told that I'm just 20. You need to grow up. Yeah, no. Let's help you grow up, man. Let's fucking help you grow up. Let's listen. You know, we have a lot of bricks built on mistakes, but somewhere along the line, we got it right. We got it level. And if you want to live that life, let's do it. But if you want the shortcut, man, go walk in a circle somewhere else.